The Palm Springs community feeling relief tonight after an arrest was made for two separate murders which had been unsolved for months. I spoke with the acting police chief of the Palm Springs Police Department, Melissa DeMoray, on what's been determined so far and what questions still need to be answered.
Talk to us about the process of finding Mr. Cantor. I know in the beginning these were labeled unattended deaths, correct? But now they've been labeled homicides.
Yes. So our actual initial contact with Mr. Cantor came during an unrelated arrest with him on August 25th, where he ended up being contacted by officers and fought with our officers. And as a result of that contact, we were able to obtain some evidence that directly linked him to both the Joseph Rachi and the Jennifer Dillon homicide that occurred earlier this year.
And at this point, we can't say what that evidence was. We don't know if it was DNA or anything specific.
We collected a vast amount of evidence at both crime scenes, and the role that evidence will play will come out in court.
These three people, the victims included, didn't know each other, correct?
Right now we have nothing to suggest that there was any link between Cantor and Jennifer Dillon or Joseph Rachi, so by all accounts they were strangers to each other.
Was there evidence linking the two victims before Mr. Cantor was taken into custody?
And just let me reframe that, the victims themselves or the crimes?
The crimes.
So we had identified, the police department had identified that there were some similarities between the two crime scenes, but what we needed was some evidence to be able to link the two together. And with Cantor's arrest on August 25th, we were able to do just that.
Is it possible there could be more victims?
So what we're doing is we're working collaboratively with all of our law enforcement partners. We're sharing the information that we have available to us at this point, and we're working with them to determine if he's involved in any other crimes, murders included, throughout the Coachella Valley and beyond.
How unusual is it to have this type of crime? I know Palm Springs is no stranger to obviously violent crime, but to have two homicides in such a short span, put this in perspective for us.
Well, this is unprecedented for us. This is the first arrest that I'm aware of where we have the same suspect involved in two seemingly unrelated crimes.
There was a social media post that went around last week, people afraid of a serial killer targeting the LGBTQ population out here. Your response?
We did see that post, and we actually addressed that on our social media. Although we were looking at the possibility that the Jennifer Dillon and Joseph Rachi murders may have been related. At that point, we did not have the evidence to connect them, and Mr. Cantor was actually in custody at the time that post was out. We also are still working to find out what the full motive of this is. So we don't have anything at this point to suggest that there was a targeting of the LGBTQ community.
You must feel a sense of relief knowing that these two crimes may have been solved.
We do, definitely. It puts my heart at ease to be able to share this information with the community and to be able to share with them that we don't believe that we have any outstanding suspects at this point, and that we don't think that there's any further threat to the community.
Is there a message you'd like to share to the public?
Really, I want to focus on the fact that he is in custody. That we do not feel like there's any threat to the community at this point, and that we have no reason to believe that there's anybody else involved in these crimes.
Thank you very much.
The suspect, 31-year-old Luis Cantor, has been arrested at least 14 times in Riverside County for various crimes, including shoplifting, car theft, and more. Police have not determined a motive in the murders, but he is facing a charge for killing one of the victims while burglarizing their home. Again, Cantor is set to appear in court tomorrow. Stay with News Channel 3 for any updates on these murders.